Breaking news mga kabayan, China, huli na namang binangga at binomba ng tubig ang barko ng Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. Isang sibilyang barko ng Pilipinas sa Pag-asa Island sa West Philippine Sea. Sa pagtalakay naman ng mga senador ng Amerika kung paano ipakita at bigyan ng lakas ang mga Pilipino laban sa agresyon ng China, iminumiungkahi ang pagbisita sa Pag-asa Island kasama ang mga militar ng Amerika at mga senador nito para magsagawa ng humanitarian mission. Sa paraang ito, ipapakita ng mga senador ng Amerika ang kanilang suporta na ang Pag-asa Island at ang mga bahura sa paligid nito ay teritoryo ng mga Pilipino.
Reminding them that China believes they own that island and is coming for it eventually. So because China is pressing that claim, I believe it would be very helpful for the United States not only to conduct medical civic action programs out there, bring out some military doctors and engineers, work alongside our Philippine friends, and frankly, U.S. senators should go out there and visit and remind them that we stand shoulder to shoulder in a very, very real way. So thank you again, sir.
Ayon sa mga eksperto sa Taiwan, ang kinakatakutan ng China ay ang pagbuo ng isang kapares ng NATO na alyansa sa Asia na pangungunahan ng Pilipinas at Amerika. Isa sa mga kinakatakutan ng China ay ang pagkakaroon ng NATO Alliance sa Asia, kung saan posibleng pangungunahan ito ng Pilipinas at Amerika. Ito ang inaalala ng China mga kabayan dahil parami ng parami ang mga bansang handang makipag-anib sa Pilipinas upang labanan at itulak ang China sa kanilang ambisyon na sakupin ang halos 80% ng mga karagatan sa South China Sea kabilang na dito ang West Philippine Sea. Sa ngayon, ito ang mga bansa na meron at kasalukuyang nasa negosasyon para sa kasunduan sa depensa sa Pilipinas, Amerika, Australia, Japan, Germany, India, New Zealand, Canada, France, United Kingdom at South Korea. Ang mga bansang ito ay naniniwala na ang West Philippine Sea ay sa Pilipinas. Sila ay handang lumaban upang itama ang mga maling hakbang na kasalukuyang ginagawa ng China.
Multiple bilateral agreements can be considered as a multilateral agreement, right? But I will argue that they are still different.
Right.
All right. What you can see right now in Asia Pacific or Indo-Pacific is still a hub and spoke system created and maintained by the United States. What China really worries about is that the regional countries in Asia Pacific really united together to create a containment against China. China really was aware that regional countries were dissatisfied with its rise and might come together to counter it, and they might introduce external forces like the United States to assist them. So China is trying to break up this kind of alliances.
Dagdag pa dito, ayon sa international na mga eksperto, ang pagdeklara ng gawing nature reserve ang Baho di Masinloc ay sa takot ng China na darating ang araw na sa tulong ng mga kaalyado tatayuan ng Pilipinas ng mga infrastruktura ang nasabing area.
It's a common language for Chinese bureaucrats. If you translate it into Chinese, this is pretty common. So I would not be surprised that he used the language like this to describe his Scarborough Shoal. However, it also shows the worries of China. China seems to be very worried that the Philippines will use the advantage it has to reclaim Scarborough Shoal. And we know that China only controlled the Scarborough Shoal since 2012, right? So far, China has not built any facilities or stationed troops or stationed people on Scarborough Shoal. And it is not suitable for this kind of activity as well. So it always has a fear that the Philippine ships will come back and take control of the vicinity of the Scarborough Shoal and exclude China from it. So
Sa hearing sa Senado ng Amerika, pinag-uusapan ang posibleng pagpunta ng mga militar at senador ng Estados Unidos sa Pag-asa Island upang ipakita ang suporta nito sa Pilipinas na siyang may karapatan at ang nagmamay-ari ng nasabing isla at ang mga nasa paligid nito mga bahura na sakop ng 12 nautical mile territorial sea ng Pag-asa Island. Ito ang isa sa mga rekomendasyon ng dating US Air Force Colonel na si Ray Powell sa kanyang testimonya sa Senado ng Amerika upang ipakita ang suporta ng Amerika sa Pilipinas upang labanan ang illegal, coercive, aggressive at deceptive o ICAD ng China sa West Philippine Sea. Ang akbang na ito ay magpapahina sa ilegal na pag-aangkin ng China sa Pag-asa Island. Pero magpapalakas ito sa posisyon ng Pilipinas na ang nasabing isla at ang mga bahura na nakapaligid dito ay pag-aari ng mga Pilipino. Kung kayo ang tatanungin mga kabayan, payag ba kayo na makarating ang militar ng Amerika at mga senador nito sa Pag-asa Island, magsagawa ng humanitarian mission at makita ang aktual na kalagayan ng ating mga kababayan sa nasabing lugar?
I am now going to exercise my privilege as chair to ask one last question. Just briefly, I want to follow up Mr. Powell. Just on that same topic with regard to the Philippines, Senator Coons and I introduced the resolution celebrating the 74th anniversary of our defense treaty with the Philippines. But what are some, I'll give you an opportunity to just talk about what are some of the concrete steps we can do to be able to help shore up that relationship with the Philippines and help build their confidence and resilience against these, these behaviors from China that are aggressive, coercive, illegal, and deceptive?
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for that question. The Philippines, of course, is extremely dear to my heart. Not only have I been married to the Philippines for 35 years, I also have spent a lot of time in the Philippines working with the Philippine government and others there. So I think one of the things, back to the fact that the Philippines is a democracy, and remembering that letting not just the Philippine government but the Philippine people know that America is behind them is really important. So I commend you for the resolution. I think those kinds of statements are extraordinarily important in the overall campaign to reinforce the U.S. commitment to the Philippines. I can't tell you how many times I was asked about the Mutual Defense Treaty since early 2023, every time there was a ramming or a water cannoning or all kinds of things. And so there's a lot of concern there that they might be abandoned. And as a democracy, it's important to note that there is a great deal of political warfare in the Philippines, that there are groups, and I mean, there was recently a large, lavish reception at a hotel, a swanky hotel in Manila, in which basically a Philippine Council for the Reunification of Taiwan assembled the Chinese ambassador and a host of Philippine groups with to promote Philippine-Chinese friendship, some of which receive money directly from China, some of which are supported by United Front organizations, many very powerful business and other kinds of civic leaders. So they are in the game very much. So anything that helps strengthen the U.S. message that the U.S. is committed, because China knows about elections. It knows that prior to this administration in the Philippines, there was an administration that was much friendlier to it, and there could be in the future. And they want to pave the way for that future because they believe that a lot more of the fruit will fall from the tree if they have a friendly administration. So one specific recommendation that might even make Dr. Ratner, who used to be in the Pentagon and would have received briefings from his people on this idea, squirm a little bit. But I have actually recommended that people should go and visit the civilian population at T2 Island in the Spratly Archipelago. I've studied the South China Sea for decades, and I can tell you that we have, as the United States, avoided that because we have not wanted to sort of throw in our lot with any one claim on the fear that we'd have to sort of try to then be forced to adjudicate all claims. But there is a civilian population at T2 Island. There is a runway, you can easily get there by aircraft, and it would be a tremendous show of support for a population that wakes up every morning and sees dozens of Coast Guard and maritime militia ships, not just on the horizon, but right there, just a couple of nautical miles away from their shores, reminding them that China believes they own that island and is coming for it eventually. So because China is pressing that claim, I believe it would be very helpful for the United States not only to conduct medical civic action programs out there, bring out some military doctors and engineers, work alongside our Philippine friends, and frankly, U.S. senators should go out there and visit and remind them that we stand shoulder to shoulder in a very, very real way. So thank you again, sir.
Laban Pinas.